This deck self-destructs. And yet, paradoxically, we still win. So in my last video, 1,000 of you sick freaks voted on a deck that self-destructs, which means I need to take someone hostage. Do you know how insane that sounds? If I used any other thumbnail or title, I was probably going to be put on a watch list, or worse, demonetized. Regardless, in classic fashion, I have absorbed your suggestion, but put a little Quips twist on it. Marriage. You see, the sweet little card Wedding Ring inexplicably links us with another one of our fellow players. And if 1950s style stand-up is any indication, marriage is the old ball and chain. But before I show you this gnarly Wedding Ring combo, let's start with the baseline rules of the deck. I'm going to define self-destruct as any card that requires some form of sacrifice, upkeep stuff, we need to blow up one of our permanents to cast it, or it does damage to us. It just kind of vibes with self-destruct, all right? The card that immediately came to mind was the Sig Ceremony, all right? This 3 black mana enchantment card reduces our creature costs by a whopping 2 mana, but immediately blows them up when they arrive on the board. If that doesn't say self-destruct, I don't know what do. This premise could easily go into a Grave Pact, Dictate of Erebos direction, where we're blowing our stuff up and taking hostages with us, making them sacrifice their stuff, but those are super cringe and not the way I play. And my magic is the best magic. Some other self-destruct-y cards include the Cash Money Descent into Avernus, which hurts all players and gives them money in a sick Mr. Beast video kind of way. I'm also running the Jinxed trio of Choker, Idol, and Ring, which do damage to us on our upkeep and when stuff is put into our graveyard from the battlefield, but we can give them to our opponents to enjoy as well. Sort of like, hey, we're self-destructing, but now that's your hot potato, you gotta carry on. Time Bomb also works well as a card and as a description of our general game plan. Since to destruct, we kinda gotta blow ourselves up. We got Ratchet Bomb, Powder Keg, Goblin Boom Keg, Pumpkin Bombs, Mog Bombers, and Bomb Squad, which cover the board wipe, creature removal, card draw, damage slots of the deck pretty well, with Pumpkin Bomb being probably the best card to come out of the Spider-Man set, most likely due to it being one of the few cards that wasn't one of the, holy shit, 40 Spider-Men, my god, talk about self-destruct, am I right? Alright, part 1 done. We can sufficiently explode ourselves via our numerous methods of self-destruction. Now, we gotta bring our opponents with us, aka taking them hostage, alright? The most real way to take players hostage is just have a Platinum Angel, a 7-mana creature, which means the game cannot end. Besides the soon-to-be described Wedding Ring hostage scenario, you can legit take players hostage in-game using a little something ironically enough called Harmless Offering. If we give our opponents a Lich's Mastery or a Nefarious Lich via Harmless Offering, if we lose the game, we take them with us. Since permanents leave the game when their owner leaves, we got them hostage. This can also be accomplished by rolling a 20 on a deck of many things and stealing an opponent's creature from their graveyard. Since if we kill that creature, its owner loses the game, their life is now in our hands. These methods I felt really encapsulate the crazy prompt of I'm crazy, but I'll take you with me. Okay, which brings me to perhaps my magnum opus. So far, I've neglected to mention our commander for this deck, which was on purpose because our commander is Piru the Volatile, a dragon that literally self-destructs if you don't keep feeding him mana. When he dies, he explodes and does 7 damage to each non-legendary creature, which doesn't seem too bad until you realize he's got lifelink. So we gain 7 life per non-legend creature that hits tokens, that hits whatever, all right? Where this gets out of hand is once we get married to someone. All right, hear me out. Wedding Ring stipulates that if we gain life, our lawfully wedded partner gains that much life as well, which in a normal game is happy, cutesy, whatever. But this is my magic, and my magic is the best magic, which is where a couple of cheeky cards like Tainted Remedy, and Plague Drone come into play. They turn our opponent's life gain into drain. And staying on theme, we also run False Cure just to make sure we also stay on the hurt train. And somewhat staying on theme, we got Sanguine Bond and Veto of the Dusk Rose to basically mean, hey, we gain a bunch of life and then you lose a bunch of life and die. You're our hostage now. We married you, and when we gain life, you're actually going to lose life. Does that make sense? Anyway, the Piru Explosion Wedding Ring Tainted Remedy shenanigans is very much the prompt to a T. We're self-destructing, and we're taking a hostage with us. So long as our combos are in place, the fate of these poor fools now rests in our explosively prone hands. If that combo seems convoluted, it is, but we have easier ways of taking our friends down with us than this sort of shotgun wedding combo shenanigans. Goblin Artillery, 3 mana, taps to deal 2 damage to a target creature or player, with us taking 3 damage. He has a legitimate identical twin, Orcish Cannoneers, statistically exactly the same, just not a goblin. He does everything that taps to do to 2 damage, does 3 damage to us. Suck that my ass, singleton format. Anyway, Spear Spewer does 1 damage to everybody. That's kind of funny. Fire Slinger does 1 damage to a creature/player, and of course 1 damage to us. The only payoff I really liked for these self-damage damage cards was Anti-Blight, who can help us store that damage to blast our opponents. Not all too dissimilar to having a sniper on a roof pointed at our friends, where any moment we can give the word and they'll pull the trigger. To have such power is truly intoxicating. Some other honorable mentions include the lovely Ashling the Pilgrim, which we can slowly stack up with counters to explode and do a bunch of damage to just about everything, creatures and players as well. Great. Broadside Bombardiers has a boast trigger we can use to explode a creature or artifact we have, and then do damage equal to 2 plus the mana value of that thing to any target. As well as a very well-themed Heartless Hitotsugu, which just halves everybody's life total. Badass. And of course, my sweet, sweet boy, Themberchode, who has actually resulted in a game tie at least twice at my game table. This guy does a lot of damage if you got a lot of mountains. It's very fun. Finally, of course, I gotta include the Captive Audience, this sweet 7-mana Rakdos enchantment, which literally takes an opponent hostage, or captive, whatever, and within 3 turns, sets their life to 4, makes them discard their hand, and all of that opponent's opponents, which includes us, makes 5 2/2 zombies. Truly an evil card for an evil deck, because I thought it was going to be, it's very silly, goofy fun. I like Captive Audience. And yeah, of course, we have the legitimate card called Self-Destruct, but not the card called Hostage Taker. It was the wrong color. I liked my vision for the deck. Don't be mad. You know, I got Self-Destruct, the real card in there, just not Hostage Taker. So I can only do so much. My magic is the best magic. Don't worry about it. That does bring us to the end of the video. So if you have a commander deck building challenge, throw it in the comments. The suggestion with the most votes, I, of course, have to build. Try not to get me demonetized, please. This was already very close. Goodness gracious. And in case I am demonetized, whoa, perfect segue, I have a Patreon where you can get custom decks and deck roasts from moi. And if you want to goof around, I stream every week on Twitch, Quips&Guac _. Follow me, please. Anyway, that's it. If you liked it, leave a like. If you subscribe, subscribe. I'll see you next time, you sick freaks. I hope this tickled your fancy. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.